a good friend of ours in this industry is here too, Teddy Yoshitani, and he was going to speak. He just said he thinks we're cool, so he doesn't have to give a speech. So a few things about what's happening today. The WCTA, we launched it, what, Steve,
4 years ago.
4 years ago over cocktails, which a lot of things happen over cocktails in the city. It's grown to be, what,
78 members.
78 members. We actually, it got sticky, we stuck. We weren't sure at the beginning. A lot of people in the room were involved in it. We weren't sure if it really was a vertical trade or if it was just a ubiquitous forum, or really, because I think the world really can't figure out to put their fingers on this thing that is clean tech and clean energy. It's so broad and touches so many industries. But I will say this about the WCTA. Our passion is being neutral to technologies, and while we're aggressive at getting clean technologies and clean energy ideas and processes and systems, we believe that it's a path, like Congressman McDermott just articulated, to get jobs and to solve some of the problems of the environment. So just today, around this room, I was noticing, we have people here from transportation, from alternate energy, steam, alternate energy, biomass, tree-free, remediation, waste management, energy efficiency, energy companies, built environment, technologies, design, engineering, tenant representation, cyber security, which has a lot to do with what's going on here, corporate services for new firms, organizations like MBIS, WSU's trade people, you can stand, you're here. It's pretty incredible. You get a little breakfast morning meeting here in a cool office building. You have that kind of representation across the span of what we're trying to do, so I applaud you for that. Today we're going to be looking at waste energy from two folks who actually are a leader in the advocacy of it and someone that actually is on the ground doing it. So Philip, we're going to introduce you first. Philip is, he's stuck with the waste energy DNA. His father was one of the early innovators in Hamburg, Germany, which turned out to be a very, very world-renowned waste energy national program. And I think a lot of people around the world have followed that. Philip is a passionate, die-hard believer in this, and I think he speaks to it from a heartfelt sense. And I'm going to read Kathy Lambert sent over, Councilman Lambert sent over a note. I'll read part of it. She says, "I think technology and the many benefits of a waste energy facility should be an important part of how we dispose of our waste and provide clean energy as well as new jobs in King County. Having been able to travel to a number of waste energy sites on tours with Philip as well as on my own, I have seen what is possible and how it would meet the needs of our citizens." She goes on to talk about jobs and sustainability and 30 to 50 year look-sees. So anyway, and then Damon Tam, who's the Systems Contract Manager, Spokane Regional Solid Waste System, is here as well. And I have to be really nice because he's a customer of McKinstry's too. He thinks we're good, right? Yeah. Good, okay. And I would also like to say Doug Moore, who's been with McKinstry for a long, long time, is an owner with my brother and I in the company, is here. Doug, thanks for coming. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to Philipp Schmidt Pathmann, CEO and founder of WRSI Consulting Group. And when you're done, would you give Damon a better introduction than I just did? Then I'll come up. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm glad everybody's here and there's such an interest in this, because I do believe it really gives us a great opportunity to look at this sector. I'd like to just give you a little bit of background information about WSI Consulting Group. Established in 1998 here as Waste Recovery Seattle International. As David already indicated, I got the ideas and roots from my dad, and I just looked at the concept of waste energy rather than landfilling, because that's mostly predominantly what we do here. And the opportunities just came up, so we looked at a logical solution. And we looked at waste energy as a better alternative to landfilling and best available technology, fact-focused, job creator, and all these things. Little did I know what politically I had to engage at that time. It was, I think, about 98% is political. Everything else falls into place somewhere. I changed the company to WSI Consulting Group in last year. And the idea was still the creation of jobs as a primary goal. but it's also the shift away from waste management to resource recovery, because we need to be much more sustainable. And with the growing markets of China and India, I mean, sustainability is key, and you'll see that throughout the presentation. Again, WSI also represents a group of international experts, most of them from Europe, a few from the United States, and we are able to really offer all-around solutions that deal with all aspects of dealing with waste. Just the advantages, I would say they're numerous. The European experience and the network, as David indicated, and Kathy have been working with Councilman Lambert for numerous years, and she's been on 2 of the study tours over, and Steve Gerritsen from Enterprise Seattle has been on one. We had PSE, Puget Sound Energy, being on one. I mean, the numerous study missions, and we used to like to open, we want to open up the minds of people, not only to the technology, but to interact even with the Green Party in Germany, to interact with the local authorities, the whole broad spectrum, to give a good idea. Let's look at the definition of waste. What is waste? There are 2 definitions in the English thesaurus. There's litter and leftover. Litter, we all know, garbage, trash, and rubbish, but the thing that I think stands out is the excess, the surplus, unused, because we do that a lot. We buy things we don't need and we throw them away, or we use them once and then we throw them away, and the reality is that, you know, we are really a throwaway, consumer-oriented society, but yet when you go out, you hear a lot of discussion about zero waste. And I like to say, what is really going on? The best way to describe this is looking at the comparison between the US and Germany from 1990, and then you'll see the 2011 days. And Germany had 65,000 landfills in 1990. The US had 20,000 landfills at that time. 70% was landfill in both countries. Germany recycled about 20%, the US 15%. Germany had 10% waste to energy, and the US had 15% waste to energy because the Carter-Reagan era just gave it a big push. So what changed? If you look at this today, Germany has a whole bunch of things that happened. Less than 200 landfills are still active today, down from 65,000. We still in the US have about 3,000 landfills. The landfill in Germany is less than 1% today, down from 70%. In the US, we still landfill more than 60%. 70% in Germany now is recycled, quite the opposite than before. We recycle about an average of 32%, where, again, you know, if you're in Seattle or in King County, we have a higher than average number, which is great, and it gives us a good starting point because we can increase that with different technologies. Also, Germany now moved to 30% waste to energy, and you'll see out through the presentation why. In the US, so we went down to 8% waste to energy, and we basically just shut down facilities and we didn't build any new ones. There are a few things that are happening, which you'll see too. But what it translates in the US is that we landfill enough to fill 1 million football fields 6 foot deep every year of waste, and that's really a lost resource. And I just, you know, because of depletion of natural resources, this is a statement. The idea would be really to become more sustainable. We really need to look at the sustainable issue, and it's a part. If we want to economically function, if we want to function environmentally, economics and environment go hand in hand. We need to change something. So, are we going to redefining waste? Can we refine it as a resource? Right now in the Pacific Northwest, 95% of all waste is landfill. That is not recycled. That is not composted and such. But everything else is it's a least sustainable solution. It's a minimal greenhouse gas reductions, very limited energy recovery, very limited, if any, recycling of the remnants that are still in the waste stream. Eventually, toxins and groundwater, air toxins and groundwater contamination are just a matter of time when this is going to happen. Even if it's down the road 100, 200 years, it will happen at some point. And what really is, it's an escalating cost. You know, we pay fees today, but our taxes will pay for it tomorrow. And it really limits our ability of jobs. What that translates to is, in the Pacific Northwest here, just alone, hundreds of bypass jobs. It's a long-term liability. We lose millions of megawatts of energy, and tens of thousands of tons of metals are lost as well. So, zero waste, really, to me, is an utopian concept. It's not a reality. However, if you look at the other concept, zero waste to landfill, That's achievable. And that's achievable in Germany. Germany will reach this goal no later